Guys, we're going to go ahead and start our little evening impromptu live stream. So if you're able to join while we're live here, that's great. That's awesome. Thanks for joining. And if you could also let me know if you can hear me and see me, that'd be great too. But if you can let me know that in the chat, that would be awesome. All right. So we've been working in this dark indigo for a little while. And I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and start dry blending some of this. Hey, Nancy, thank you so much for the video check and sound check over there on the YouTube live. Thank you. Appreciate that. So this brush will just blend things together quite a bit. So Somia is over on Facebook. Thanks, Somia. Appreciate that. So we're good both on Facebook and YouTube. If we get enough pigment on the paper, then we should be able to start moving it around a little bit. The thing that I don't want to do, though, is I don't want to just go in here and just move it for the sake of moving it and not think about the direction of the stroke of this brush. I want to think about where I'm allowing this pigment to move. So I still want to think about all of the light and the shadows, the form that I'm trying to depict here, and what I want the viewer to do when they enter the composition, where I want them to go, that kind of thing. So all of those things matter a whole lot. Now remember, I protected the little highlight in the eye, and so I can brush right over that area. I protected it by adding white in that highlight. So it doesn't really matter what I do now on top of it. I can always get that back to white again. And I want there to be this, soft diffusion of edges. I don't want everything to look like a crisp edge right here. That's not what I want. Okay, now we'll go up into the forehead, which is going to take a long time, I think. We'll do that tonight. We'll do a little bit on that forehead tonight. I know. Hold your excitement to a minimum, please. We're going to draw a forehead. I can hear the hoops and hollers already. I'm just kidding, of course. It's just such a boring part of the portrait process, right? But everyone has a forehead. Can't skip it. All right. Pull that back out a little bit. Maybe that doesn't matter, though, how light that is right there. Need a little more pigment right in here, though. I noticed. There we go. I'm laughing at what Fred just said. Your forehead could never be boring, John. Oh my. Yeah, that's right. Okay, let's see what that does. Blend a little bit more of that in there. So I saw there was a comment over on YouTube, I believe, by Melissa. I haven't had time to reply to her yet, but she was asking why. It was a good question. Why did I use Caput Mortem on the bottom layer and then go on top of it with Dark Indigo? And why couldn't I use one or the other, which is really just an excellent question, really is. And so I could have done that, right? Obviously. I could have used one or the other. Could have just stuck with Caput Mortem, actually. But I want there to be, trying to create mood a little bit, right? In the piece. And I want there to be a darker value on the shadow side. So I want everything to be quite a bit darker on the shadow side. Let me get closer to this without hitting my overhead camera. Okay. And so if that's the case, if I want everything to be darker, then that very muted down purplish red in Caput Mortem that we have would be able to accomplish that quite a bit. It's sort of a grayish violet color, right? But it's sort of a middle value, really. And this dark indigo is going to help me push this even darker than what I've got it. And so blending those two together is going to be it's going to give me that rich, dark value that I want. That not just the tone, but also a color that I want, that I can work with. And I can add brighter colors on top of it, especially on this surface, because this is not sanded paper. I was talking to somebody recently, and they thought that pastel matte was sanded paper. It's not. It's not a sanded paper. There is this silica kind of surface. Some people refer to it as cork. I don't know. You could go, I guess, research it from Clairefontaine's website. They probably have some specs on exactly what the product is, how it's created. But the bottom line is that this surface is something that is non-absorbent, and it's different than a cotton paper. Okay. It has some of the same qualities sometimes as an absorbent paper does, but it's not an absorbent paper. It's made of something different, and there is a backing on it that is resistant. And so there is some kind of adhesive layer in between. And so when you use something like water or a solvent, anything like that, you'll notice this bit of resistance where things are floating around on top. So Nancy is asking, is that how you pronounce it? And she's got a couple of different phonetic spellings there. Nancy, good questions. I don't know. That's how I'm pronouncing it. I'm probably the last person you want to follow with regard to pronunciations, but I'm going to call it something. So I call it Caput Mortem. I may be wrong about that. I guess we could look it up. Maybe there's a good proper pronunciation for it. I don't know. You really don't want to follow me on pronunciations on words. I'll just tell you right now, that would not be a good thing to do. Let me see what this will do. We don't have really enough up there right now to get this to blend like we want. So we got to keep working at it. And I want to move my hand in a slightly different direction so that I can get more coverage and not retrace the same strokes that I put down already. I can get a smoother gradation if I don't do that, you know. Very cool, Nancy. All right, so we'll just call it whatever you want to call it, right? I do like that color, though. It's such a good color. I got a brand new set of pencils in the mail today. I'm just very excited about um, by Derwent. And I can't talk about them yet, but I just want to tell you that I have some, and I won't tell you even what the name of them are, but they're not out yet. But I can't wait to talk to you about them. I'll just put it that way. Okay. Looks like the camera's trying to focus on my hand and my arm a little bit. So if you go outside the line up here, a nice thing about doing these soft, very, very light strokes is you're going to be able to just erase that very quickly. And it's not going to damage the paper or anything like that. And if you have pigment that's building up too much, you can do that and just erase it very quickly with your kneaded eraser. Yeah, very cool. Nancy says she's excited to hear about the new pencils. Derwent, I'm just I want to hurry and talk about them, but I'm not going to do that yet. All right. So I'm going to push this all the way over here a little bit. And I want to think about the transition of this shadow and where it may be the darkest. And, that gradation that starts to happen, it starts over here in the forehead, and then it softly, very subtle change in the form as we get close to this area right in here, which would be the high point right here of where that turn, that curve is when we get to the side plane of the head. It makes a big difference the way that we handle that turn, that little shift in direction. Okay. Put a little bit more over here. I like how sturdy this surface is. On pastel mat, you can be a little rough with the surface, and you're not going to damage. Now you can't just press down and bear down really hard, but you can be a little more um, heavy-handed in certain areas, and you can scrub a little bit with erasing where you can't do that with cotton paper. If I keep doing little tiny turns on this brush as I'm working my way over towards this lighter area, then I can create a smoother transition of this pigment and pull it away from this area that I just laid down and load up the brush at the same time, but also distribute it over here. All right. We're not going to be streaming very long tonight. Be wrapping up here in just a little bit. I just want to get some of this in here so we can get closer to completing this grisaille portion of it. We start adding color. That'll be a lot of fun. But we're not there yet. Still got a ways to go. Okay. I'm going to remove some of this. There we go. All right. Now there is, let's see, there's a spot somewhere up in here. I want to look at my reference. There we go. Somewhere right up in here, a little bit of a wrinkle right up there. And right up above that, I think it's about right in there. But it's very, very subtle. There we go. Thanks, Fred. Okay. Now I want that shadow over here to be a little bit longer. There's something over here that I'm not quite liking. I want to take a look really quick. I think maybe we've got a little bit too much right down here. So I can remove some of that to pay attention to the form right there just a little bit more than what I did already. That looks a little better. And then soften that a little bit. There we go. That's a little better in that area. Okay. Yeah, because I want that this all to be very, very similar in value. And want the pinnacle, that area to be, this whole area I'm talking about, needs to be darkest right over here and right up under here, obviously. Now I have to reserve a little bit of room, though, for some layers on top of this, some colored layers, rather than just this dark area here. Okay. Now, take a look here. Could go a little darker over here. I don't want to make a big deal out of any of these of the mid-range areas over here on the highlight side of the face. That's not going to serve me well if I do. So I want to look at only shadows, really, pretty much at the beginning here in these early stages of the process. I'm nearly off the frame. I have to remember I'm zoomed in quite a bit. I'm not all the way zoomed out. Okay. Edges of the mouth. I can always make those edges just a little bit darker than anywhere else in this area. And this shadow shape that's being cast from the hand, the fingers over here, the small finger, can move right into this depressed form right in here and become quite a bit darker right there. And I can move that out just a little bit, this cast shadow right here. But I want to think about the form of that shadow as it's being cast on this part of the face. Make sure that I'm following the form quite a bit. I'm not thinking about the shape of the hand or the fingers that's casting the shadow. I'm wanting to follow the form of what it's on more than I want to follow the shape of what's casting it. Hopefully that makes sense. And everything from this edge over here, this can be my very tight, clean edge, whatever you want to call this, whatever descriptive term you want to give it. This can be an area, especially when I'm focused on the shadow, that can be an area that I'm using to create my darkest value, and then I am creating a gradation away from that to depict this very dark area. Now, when I'm starting to look at that finger up here, then I'm going to shade this edge because of the form of this hand. So it's curved, right? It has some body, some volume. And so it's also going to be shaded, but I'm not going to shade it in the same way as I am the separation in these two edges right here. Okay, let's see if we can blend that just a little bit. If we got enough on there, I think we do. All right. Well, there we go. I think we're going to go ahead and stop right there. That's about what I wanted to get accomplished tonight. Thanks, guys, for watching. Appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. And same time, same place. I don't know about the same time, but same place. So we'll do this again tomorrow. You guys take care. Have a good